I don't really like Permadeath that much. I think he's terribly overrated.
Discomfort it caused you. The difficulty was extreme.
It's unlikely to happen exactly the same way again.
My suicide, I would say there were three things. The first of them is immaturity. 6 years ago, I was 18 at that time. And the fact that I acted impulsively and didn't think twice or consult with Rich made me make that decision. Then, another thing that had a big influence was the pressure the show put on you. And every day having that uncertainty of whether you'll survive or if you'll have to farm the next day just to make it 2 more days. And the way I lived and the way I solved it was by killing myself in the game, but it's not something that was right and it's not something I'm proud of. And I wouldn't do it again.
Enough. We won't mention the subject again. Carlos was revived hours after the suicide, and they agreed to make him feel valued on the server. We still have statements from more than 15 players to go through. Let's finish Carlos's and then continue with the others.
Honestly, when it comes to staying, I remember more about others than myself. It's pretty strange because I only remember the day I died and then a couple of random moments. But maybe it's because of the feeling of anxiety it caused. And also because 6 years have passed. A lot of us still think it was just recently, but it's been 6 years. I have a fond memory of it, honestly. And it's the best thing I've ever played in Minecraft. Because nothing has ever made me feel those emotions like that. Going to sleep thinking about the series. But it's true that I wouldn't want to do it again. It's an experience like that because of the discomfort it caused you. When you knew you had to go farming and you were at risk of... I even almost died off stream farming the netherite armor that you had to take to the end, and I went to the end without it and I looted it from Friwadri who died. And then when I died, I do remember feeling a great relief, honestly, because I could finally enjoy the perspectives of the others. I felt really sad about dying and not lasting longer. That's all I have to say, honestly. Permadeath, great series. They should make 1,000 more like it. But none of them will ever have the same level, and being vanilla...
Here I can read that the statement is from the consumer. He died on the 30th at a chicken farm. No recording, no witnesses. Only he knows exactly what happened. And he tells it in this video.
Well, my experience with Permadeath was very good. I have very good memories. Looking back, it was really crazy. You have to understand, I had never played Minecraft before. Literally. I mean, I had done a mini-series with Reach. He had taught me the basics. I had played, I don't know, 2 hours in my life. And suddenly I joined Permadeath. I mean, everything was new to me. Everything. So everything was really hard and everything was really scary. But thanks to Raquel, to Paracetamor, the experience was amazing. I had a great time. I was a real daredevil. And I had an introduction to Minecraft, well, through the front door. It really was. It was a very, very cool adventure because I was discovering the game at the same time the game wanted to kill me. And unfortunately, my death wasn't recorded. Or maybe fortunately, I don't know, because it was really ridiculous. It was the last day before killing the dragon. I had never done that before. I honestly had no idea what would happen. So I just followed everyone else. But it's true that I was already a bit tired of the show, overwhelmed because it was getting harder and harder, because I felt like I couldn't do anything. And well, I think all of that affected me. And I kind of had that mentality of, well, today they're going to kill me and that's it, right? Today the dragon is going to kill me and that's it. And we had, with Raquel, we had, well, a whole pit where there were a bunch of chickens. At that time, all the animals in the game would attack you. And we had about 8, 10, maybe 20 chickens. I don't know exactly how many. And so I was wearing the armor, but I don't remember if I was actually wearing the armor. It took longer to do something to mine. I don't know what, I don't know. I took off my armor and started feeding the chickens, but I wasn't sure what I was doing. And I fell into the chicken hole, and obviously they killed me because there were 7 or 8 or 10. They all attacked me at once. I didn't have any armor and I died, so it was a bit ridiculous. It was funny and a shame since it was the last day and I missed out on the dragon thing. It was also unfortunate. I wasn't streaming, but I guess it was meant to be. I mean, I think my mind was already like, that's it. I'm not going to play anymore. Today I'm going to die. And that made me less careful, and I fell. That's how it was. That was my experience in Permadeath.
Frigoadri made it to day 30. He had a totem when they caught him in the end. There was a 1% chance it would fail, and that day, that 1% was for him.
Honestly, remembering Permadeath brings back really good memories. Let's go step by step. First, I went to live alone in a swamp to build Shrek's house. And I remember setting up defenses so that normal mobs wouldn't get in. Especially during the first days when there weren't any crazy monsters yet. Still, it brings back good memories like Nia. That's where Fola, Nia and I became friends. And then we made another series called Triocraft. Then my death. I'm really sorry. It was the most selfish one. I mean, the most selfish. I don't even know what I'm saying. The most unfair thing in the whole series. I mean, I died because of that 1% chance. The totems had a 1% chance of failing. And the first time that happened was with me, and I died. I mean, the same day it happened, I was the only person. I think nobody died in the battle against the dragon, but I died before the battle even started. I think someone hit a charged creeper, which were insanely strong. It blew up right next to me. And that was it for me. Terrible. Then I remember that Fola went to honor my death in the end and died in the end. The truth is that sometimes not even on purpose or by writing it, things turn out so perfectly. Right? Permadeath. Such a legendary series, honestly. I wish it would come back. Rich, do Permadeath, man.
Damn.
Paracetamor joined Permadeath without having really played Minecraft before. It was her first content series. What was tense for others was her moment to unwind from the day. Until in the end, a bug with an ender pearl ended everything, and there was nothing she could do.
Hi, I'm Paracetamor, and I'm going to tell you a bit about my experience in Permadeath in the Minecraft series. Well, it was actually my first content series. It was the first time I was invited. When I got the invitation, I said, I don't know what this is. It's kind of a shady invitation. It sounds like a hard game, but okay, I'll accept it. It also sounds a bit weird, but I had no idea about Minecraft. I had played before, but very little, okay? I just looked for diamonds and that's it. And when I got to Permadeath, I had to learn absolutely everything about the game on the fly. But well, it was like a much more intense experience of learning Minecraft. But anyway, I think I remember it as being a lot of fun. Also, I met a lot of people who are actually friends. I still consider them friends to this day. Above all, I remember very fondly meeting OutConsumer, and we teamed up to be a couple and live together in the series because neither of us had any idea about Minecraft or knew anyone. And it was like, okay, well, hi, I'm Raquel. Hi, I'm Rock. So, let's team up. So, I had a really good time until the moment I was eliminated. Well, it was a bit confusing, to be honest. The problem is that I don't have it recorded. I was off streaming because you could play the series without recording. And I thought, look, I'm going to LAN. And I said, I'm just going to build bridges to see if I can find elytras. So I said, well, I'm going to look. And when I find one in a city, I'll just stay there, log off, and do it live the next day. So I searched. I think I actually found one. And what happened? It was just that Folagor died on LAN's main island, so I couldn't go back. So I was a little worried. I didn't know if I should log off in LAN. It seemed like a really bad idea to log off there with the electric creepers. And in the end, I decided to go back. I found a way out to go to the main island. I had already written down the coordinates of the end city and everything, so I made my own staircase. I went up to the exit. I threw an ender pearl. My character teleported, but ended up falling into the void. I mean, it was like LAN's main island hadn't loaded in time, but I had loaded first. So basically I was falling and I died, and my head ended up, well, down in the void. I think later Rich went to get it. It was a strange death, I guess. They could have revived me or not, I think. But anyway, I had a great time in the series and I have really good memories, especially because of the friends I made along the way and the game I discovered, because after that I played Minecraft a lot more, and for me it's a great memory and a really wonderful time.
Tonacho made it to day 50. A Giga Slime, one of the new mobs added with the difficulty change, killed him in the water, quick and with no chance. He himself says it wasn't intentional.
Hello! Let's see. For me, Permadeath. Permadeath, I really liked it a lot. I mean, I really liked it a lot because it seemed like a very different way to play Minecraft with the pressure that it was every week, right? Every week or every few days, the difficulty would increase. And it increased a lot because Rich is crazy. It was really fun because you had to get ready. Like, you had to prepare quickly because if you weren't prepared, you'd die. My death, what I remember. It was pretty sad and caught me off guard. I saw a giant slime and thought, well, it's a slime. But a giant one. I think it killed me in 1 or 2 hits. I'm not sure. Plus, it caught me in the water, which was pretty pathetic. People even said that I did it on purpose. I mean, I think they couldn't believe I was that dumb. But no, it wasn't on purpose. I mean, I didn't think at first that the slime could grab me from so far away. Because of course the slime's hitbox was gigantic, just like it was. And then it took so much of my health. It was crazy. I mean, it took a lot from me because people started to suspect. Of course, they started to say that maybe I did it on purpose because when it killed me, I didn't really care. I didn't care and said, whatever, let's move on. So we did. In the end, what bothered me? I did wish I'd gotten further. I would have liked to get further, but I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it, you know? I don't make a big deal out of things. I'm very stoic. I'm pretty stoic. Did a slime kill me? Well, whatever, move on. That's it. One of the memorable moments I remember, which didn't happen to me, was with Roku and the chicken thing. Was it with the chicken? I remember that a lot. And that's it. Honestly, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I think that's it. I'd like for it to happen again, though. I'd love it if it happened again. And I got invited. I'm still working on Minecraft. Sometimes. Frozen kisses. Thanks for including me in this video. I'm still here. Should I cut? Ah. No, before you cut, I have something important to say.
And now we're going to listen to Nia, who died while earning the No Mercy achievement.
Hi! I'm Nia, and I'm going to tell you the story of how I died in Permadeath. When we went to kill the dragon was incredible. An epic event. One of the best. I enjoyed it so much. We worked as a team, and it was beautiful. But after that, we decided that Lou and I would go to the end to get my achievement. Together, and with the help of our amazing invisibility potion, we got past the enemies. And calmly, talking, we managed to get through a good part of the end until we got scolded and had to split up. We couldn't go together. We split up, and poor Lulu immediately felt super sad because I quickly found an end city. And I was able to achieve my goal, which was to come here to get the No Mercy achievement. You might be wondering, how did the No Mercy death happen? Well, basically we had decided, because we'd seen other people do it, that the most optimal way to finish them off was to fill it with TNT. Others had already done it. They had filled the whole structure with TNT because it was very dangerous, so TNT was the best option. And that's how it was. There was something I didn't know about, folks. Enderman. When I lit the TNT, an Enderman passed by and it took damage, okay? But the real one didn't die. It took damage from the TNT. What did that do? So it automatically decided to attack me. Then the Enderman ran toward me. I didn't understand what was happening. I didn't know that. Then my totem popped. I quickly placed water. And when the totem popped, what happened? I became visible. And what happened next? A ghast spawned right in front of me. And it shot at me. I fought a little. But I ended up dying. And I ended up dying while getting an achievement in the chat. Without mercy. That's how the player died in Permadeath. Without mercy.
Bree is not a content creator. He joined Permadeath without having played Minecraft in 5 years. He lost his entire team in the first few days, and he kept going alone. He made it to the top 8. Let him speak.
Well, I'm Bree. Welcome. I have a really good memory of Permadeath, honestly. I used to play with Alex and Felipe, and it was like my first experience in Minecraft in about 5 years or so without touching the game. They were explaining everything to me little by little, and suddenly one day I'm in bed. I do remember that. I'm in bed. And I don't know what I was doing. I think I was watching Felipe live. I said, what's this guy doing live? Why isn't he playing with us? And he went in by himself. It was during that endless storm, I think. He was helping Figo and he died there. That was it. I thought, damn it. Then I think Alex went through something similar. So I ended up alone. But honestly, I was having a great time since those two usually carried me. They were the so-called experts, right? And they taught me everything. They built all the farms. And I ended up with an awesome trading hall, an underground base, an awesome gold and XP farm, and a ton of other things. And the dragon, besides, is one of my best memories in general from Minecraft. And honestly, what Rich and the developer did, or I don't know who, well, the developers, I don't know how many people there were, was crazy, really. I had the role that Alex was supposed to have because we had an iron farm. But Alex wasn't there, so Rich gave the role to me. We made iron golems to protect us. I had a great time. It was amazing. One day, I died randomly on the day we were heading to a new dimension or something like that. I don't remember it very well now. That same day, before starting the afternoon stream, I decided to farm some gold, since there were changes in gold drops. And I had a gold farm, and it was like, damn, this is perfect for me because I can get more drops. So I went there, and it turns out there was a carpet I didn't place because Rich messed with the server settings, which was crazy. And all kinds of mobs were spawning everywhere. And a ghast spawned on me that didn't make any noise in some random spot. I wasn't even looking, and it shot a fireball and hit me right away. I mean, it hit me directly, and that's it. I died. It was really sad, right? To be live so I could have the series going well and everything. But look, I died alone. I played alone. And that's how my story ended, honestly. But still, honestly, it was amazing. It was really nice.
Felipe was active from the very first day, and he was also one of the first to really fall. He died stepping in front to protect his teammates. This is his version.
Let's see. Experience, the Permadeath experience. In my case, I joined, I had never played Minecraft before. Well, never. To this day, I still haven't played any modded Minecraft. And that was kind of what led to my early death in Permadeath. But anyway, the week I played was awesome because for me, it was basically the same as EliteCraft. That's it. I spent that week playing a ton of hours. Rich had the data on how much I played. But anyway, in that first week, he and I played like crazy. One week, I played more than half the server. I think what happened was that Celine had been at the base. She and Antonio had building something, if I remember. Right. She logged out. And the next day, Antonio started building and built in the area where she had logged out. When she logged in, she was stuck inside a wall and suffocating. So someone had to break the walls to help her. Their base was a mess. It wasn't ready, lacked lighting, had no walls, and wasn't prepared for this. I had played 200,000 hours on the server, and since everyone got along, if someone needed something, you'd help and give them what they needed. When I saw they were dealing with this, I said, damn, I'll go over there and give them a hand. So I went, and the moment I arrived and tried to find her, tried to mine whatever needed to be done, and then ran into that, a specific spider, it really overwhelmed me. In a way, it was a sad moment because I was really enjoying the world, the server a lot. And damn, you could see it. Adri's broken scream when I died. It was a tough thing, but in a way, I'm not going to say I'm glad, but almost, because the experience I had was wonderful. And honestly, I think I wouldn't have enjoyed the part about playing with fear, about checking what resources you have, about getting those unlocks, the netherite, and all those things you guys added, that Rich added. So I don't know, it was a really beautiful story from beginning to end, the way it ended, like a hero. Wonderful server, wonderful people. It was awesome. That's it, my story's already there.
The next person to testify is someone who, besides being a player, is responsible for everything you're judging. Rich MC died on day 56 while making a joke. Today he will talk about that.
Well, my experience in the series was very fun. I remember it fondly. I had a good time. It was like going in and thinking, okay, don't die, hahaha. And this was different. It was like the next day you could come back and create content again. Well, it did feel a bit like what I did and announced in the slogan of the trailer, which was the worst nightmare for a content creator. In the end, that's what remains. It's putting the content creator in a situation like, dude, you have a ton of content here. You're gonna have a great time. But if you die, you miss out. And about the moment of my death, it's cool. I think it's fine. At the time, my death was frustrating. At the time, there were people who wanted to revive me. At the time, even I had doubts. And it's like, no, no, no. This is my death. I crashed like this, and that's how it is. I didn't see the sign, and that's it. No. Yes, you do have that moment of doubt. But no, I mean, there were a lot of people who wanted to revive me. Like me. And it's like, dude, no, I'm dead. This was my mistake. And that's it. Are you asking me to comment on Permadeath? I can say that I don't. I don't really like Permadeath that much. I think it's terribly overrated. I think it's an idea. That's just... Okay, I think it was innovative, and I went for Permadeath, and I'm glad people liked it. But the reality is that it's just another project. I think I've done much better things, and I think I can do much better things. And unfortunately, I don't have the budget to make to Permadeath. Two people already know that. It's a very complicated situation because the amount of programming assets and things needed to make Permadeath, and well, it's frustrating. I think people already know that the project is completely on hold. The idea exists, of course, but as long as I don't have the funding, it's impossible to make. Those are a few points. Take care, Rubik, and I hope you're well.
Thank you. Vandal teamed up with Kakitron, Rango, and Nia from the beginning. He left Permadeath with something he didn't expect to take with him. Real traumas.
Let me tell you some things that have happened, okay? Just a little overview, Rubik, alright? But the thing is, I don't know exactly what to tell you because if I tell you everything, it's going to be a lot. I have a special fondness for Perma because it was like a real adventure. I mean, it was like I had a whole character arc in Perma. Plus, it's really fun because I like hardcore and all that. So, I like playing hardcore. So, Perma was like the first hardcore series I played. It was one of the first times I played with people because there was Elite and then there was that. I hadn't played with many people before, so it was nice. It was really special. And I can tell you about the death. So the crazy guy caught me. I mean, let me give you a bit of context. I went to the Nether on the last day of those days. I was going to the Nether to get some swords that the Wither Emperor gives you, right? I was in a fortress and he killed me. I mean, it was like he caught me as if I got hit by a truck, literally. And well, that's all.
Juan is one of the two Permadeath players who died twice. This is the story of the first one, the one caused by the server itself.
Permadeath. What I remember about Permadeath, it was like the first days making friends and all that. It was really cool until the first person died, and that wasn't cool. Yeah, well, yes, of course, my death, well, my fake death. I remember that I died. They told us to get somewhere safe because there would be a change. I don't remember the exact details, okay? But I protected myself with obsidian, and at the very top, I built a building at the very top with an obsidian tower and locked myself in there like a bunker. But what happened? When I logged in, and because of some script error, it looks like the block underneath disappeared, and I fell. It wasn't my fault. It was the script's fault. So that's what happened. Fine, I'll revive, and they revived me.
And the next video we have is from Gona, one of the few who unfortunately fell because of the 1% chance of the totem failing.
Let's see, what can I say about Permadeath? When it all started, I thought it was gonna be something like, I don't know, a hardcore survival, something like that, that would gradually get harder, but I never imagined the level of tension we would experience there. And one of the things that I think was the scariest for me about the whole experience was the messages saying that someone else had died. All the time it kept happening. You were already tense because of everything going on, but that added a kind of psychological tension. I remember sleeping badly in Permadeath some days. I mean, like in real life. And about my death, I remember the moment perfectly. I think that in my life, 5 minutes before I died, maybe 10, someone had died right in front of me. And I remember that I fell into the trap of the Zulkers, the explosive Zulkers, man. I thought I could kill the Zulkers little by little and that the controlled explosions would be manageable, more or less. I mean, within life, the difficulty. But what I didn't imagine was that the Zulkers would start blowing each other up in a massive chain of explosions, which is what happened. And it blew me up. I couldn't even react. I didn't have time to understand how the chain of explosions worked fast enough to save myself. It was here one moment, gone the next. Just a small mistake. I'm sure it happened to others too. No time to react. A quick kiss to Ruby.
Everyone comes back to talk about the second death, the final one. This time there was no exception.
A damn creeper killed me at home. Actually, in my own house. The tension was thick in the air. You could feel it in the air. At first it was a reality check, but then it was relief. It was like, that's it. And if I had to sum up Permadeath in one word,
I'd say Chris Green was one of the last ones standing. Here, he's not going to talk so much about his death, but about what Permadeath left him.
My experience in Perma was like a turning point for that game mode, so to speak. Normally at that point, you might like to play a series with 30 million mods to improve the experience, you know? But Perma was a server that showed you didn't need that. That's it. And I really enjoyed it, because I think it's the perfect game mode to make use of everything there is in Minecraft. For example, in an SMP, you almost never use pumpkin pies. I remember that keeping pies was useful, because suddenly a difficulty change wouldn't allow carrots. Or for example, I don't know, milk. Who the heck is going to drink milk? In Perma, it does have a very, very important use, because it can remove bad effects, and that's it. The last day I survived was crazy. I had just gotten up. No, I hadn't slept, and I felt like the changes were overwhelming. And you would go into a portal, like a normal person, and a creeper would spawn right behind you. And boom, take it easy. And well, that's it. Sending greetings to Rusty and everyone.
Died on day 60 in less than 8 minutes after he logged in. The shortest stream of his career. He had warned Rich in private that the changes were too much, but nobody listened to him.
Hello, hi, I'm Kere Creeper, Quiller Creeper. My experience in Permadeath was, like most people, very good. One of the things that impressed me the most was that I thought it was going to be a server that would last longer, like 3 months, you know? But everything happened really fast. So we had little time to adapt, and that was a plus, because it was harder. Every week there was an update, and that meant we had to adapt. And I remember that one of the things I enjoyed the most was going into a creative world and testing the changes using commands. That way, I could see what took a lot of health, what didn't take much health, and then I would go into the server. I remember I had a great time doing those things. Well, about my death, I just went into the server and died. I couldn't do anything. I lasted 8 minutes. I think it was the shortest stream I ever did. I couldn't do anything since I was traveling and unable to connect. And when I got back home, I logged in and died. I really didn't do anything, so I ended up in second place. But just to put it that way, because I was the last one to join. I mean, if I had joined earlier, would I have died earlier, or was it just pointless because the difficulty was extreme? I mean, it's not like my base was... I just couldn't do anything. I liked the beginning a lot more, because that was the part where you saw people dying, where people couldn't get back in anymore. It's a feeling that's always nice, even though it's also sad at the same time. But anyway, and then it was also really cool, because every time someone died there was like a storm or something like that. So the storm was something bad, because there were mobs, etc. The deaths also had an impact. I don't know, that was really nice. So what I liked the most, in general, was the tension you could feel in the air. It was wonderful to see everyone silent. When we killed the dragon, organized, we were all in the same mood, and you could tell.
John also made it to day 60. It was his first hardcore Minecraft series. What started as a server ended up being a turning point in his career and his life.
Is a series that I care about a lot. It was my first hardcore Minecraft series, and really the one that has helped me grow the most. As a YouTuber and as a streamer, with Edit Editecraft obviously, but Permadeath had a very special feeling. The hardcore aspect, the difficulty, the fact that you only have one life changes everything. At the time of my death, well, we were doing really well. We made it to day 60 with Chris, who was my ally. There were 5 of us that day, day 60 if I remember correctly. And there were Lou, Killer, Kaki, Chris, and me. Then Kaki died. And we went with Chris to pick up his things. Honestly, we could have, but we didn't really need to go pick up his things. But I think Kaki had a very valuable totem that basically saves you from everything. So we wanted to go, and we didn't realize how hard it would be. We went into the nether, but Pam, in the nether, an invisible creeper showed up, blew up, and killed Chris. Because Chris didn't have the totem at that moment, but I still had mine, so I survived. And that's when I realized, no. Without Chris, I wasn't going to go to Kaki's house. So I went back, and that's when I died. I went through the portal, and there were a bunch of invisible charged creepers waiting for me behind the portal. I blocked one with a shield, another popped my totem, and then there's the famous time the totem failed. Well, the conduit didn't work, sorry. The conduit didn't work, because after I used my totem in the water, it was the creeper. I drowned to death. I died by drowning, sadly. Well, I died very quickly, and that's it. That was the end of Permadeath, a very, very nice series. And well, that was it for me. Maybe the Minecraft series I enjoyed the most in my life because I just played to enjoy a very, very special series. Raid, please release for the MV2.
And closing the testimonies, Luke. Probably the one who analyzed the series the most objectively from the inside.
Why did Permadeath work? Well, it was a combination of factors that will hardly ever be repeated in exactly the same way. It was a super innovative idea. No PvP between players. What mattered was you against the environment. That was the enemy, the environment. But also it happened during the pandemic. And honestly, I really experienced it. Maybe too much, you could say. Because, I don't know. I also built my base in the swamp. Because I discovered that mobs wouldn't spawn directly in that water. And I studied the difficulty changes in the series as if it were, I don't know, an exam. I was there with the iPad, planning strategies, drawing. But what I enjoyed the most was the moments with everyone else. In the end, everything happens to me with Minecraft series. This happens to me, which is that I really like the relationships. Now then, why was I the last one to fall? A lot of people say that, yes, I played it safe. And honestly, that's true. It's true. But playing it safe doesn't mean being passive or doing nothing. I played tactically, always aware of the exact level of difficulty at every moment. I don't feel like a winner just because everyone else competing dropped out that day. You know, a lot of people, because the difficulty had increased a lot and reached a point where it was almost impossible to survive against PvE. And honestly, yes, it's true that I feel very accomplished for having survived, for making good content, for helping other teammates improve, and for leaving something on the channel that people can go back and watch and enjoy whenever they want with the hope that it comes back. Well, honestly, 6 years have passed, people have grown, and I'm in a different stage of my life now. But even so, if another edition were organized, honestly, I would be the very first to sign up. If I could, I'd be delighted, and that's it. A big hug. I hope this recording is useful to you. And see you later.
Here the players' statements come to an end. Now it's time for the public to decide if Permadeath was a masterpiece and one of the best hardcore series ever made in the history of Minecraft.